Okay, Ontario, listen to me. We have the opportunity to do the funniest thing right now. Oh boy, I finally got my check from the Ontario government, currently run by Doug Ford and his Conservatives. I know exactly what to do with this. Yeah, this video is gonna be a little bit different than the usual topics that I cover on this channel. So if you click off after that first attempt at humor, I don't blame you. Next time I should have a video that is more in line with video games and tech and something fun. Hopefully. Hi, editing memes here from the future. I was editing this and realized how much my framing was off and how it looks like I was hiding through most of the video. I should have went with a wider lens. I apologize for this. I'm gonna look really awkward throughout all this. Forgive me. Look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. I am no fan of Doug Ford. It is hard for me to see this $200 check as anything more than an election bribe disguised as a rebate to distract people from the issues currently going on in his government. Because instead of it being used on healthcare or education or expanding ODSP or implementing a UBI, Universal Basic Income, by the way, he instead decides that everyone gets a one-time check of $200 to make it look like the government's taking care of us, when in actuality he's cutting public spending and services and funding. The things that we need. But hey, I guess this is better than picking fight with cyclists or Torontarians, or funding yet another construction that nobody asked for. And probably won't be done for another 5 years. So I personally think it would be really funny if we take that $200 obvious dirty bribe money and push it somewhere else. Whether it be towards our own communities, a rival political party that could take them out in your area, or just direct action, charity, something good. I also think it would get exponentially more funny the more Ontarians do this. Okay, also full disclosure real quick, originally this video focused on the idea of pushing that money towards the other provincial political parties, but I soon realized that not everyone wants to do that, and maybe it might be good to also have some community and direct action related options as well, because believe it or not, there's more to politics than just voting for a preferred party. This is something that I have come to realize over the last year. Let's just put it that way. Of course, I want to stress real quick that if that $200 is actually going to help you, or like at least help you stay afloat, this call of action is not for you. Like, how entitled would I have to be like, hey, you know this free money that you got? Take that money and throw it at a political party, or throw it towards another organization, even though you kind of need it right now. Like, I would have to be out of touch and out of time. Like a lot of politicians and political spokespeople. And people on Twitter. Hell, social media at this point, man. Where was I? Hell, a big reason why I'm doing this is because I'm in a privileged position to do so. I also have a taste for things ironically blowing up in powerful people's faces. But make sure that you assess your own situation and do what's best for you and your family unit. Be cool? Cool. And before you say Trudeau and the federal Liberals are doing the same thing, yes, Ford and Smith did it first, but those criticisms still apply. That might be weird, hearing it from someone who's very anti the Conservatives, but it's true. You don't magically get a free pass because you're marginally better than the other options. In fact, if anything, that should make us more critical. But hey, we're gonna shelve those federal problems for something else, okay? Today we're focusing on provincial. Got it? Cool. Okay, anyways, rant over. Here are the different timestamps for each thing. I'm just gonna go in order of what I thought of at the time. So cool? Cool. If you're thinking of doing what I did, here's some key information about donating to political parties provincially or in the country that I think you should know about. Wait, was this whole video just an excuse to dump acquired knowledge on the viewer again? Yes. The first thing, and most people know this, is that the first $400 donated provincially will be given a 75% tax credit. This means that if you donate $200, you get $150 back in your taxes. This is why I'm even suggesting that other Ontarians take part in this if they so wish, because at least you're going to get some of that money back, or at the very least, save some tax, even if they had to wait a year by doing this. Important thing to note is that you can donate past $400 up to a maximum of $3,690.42 provincially, but the higher you go, the less money you will get back. From that 75%, then it goes down to 50%, and then 33% until you hit that maximum. The whole idea of this strategy, though, is just using Ford's bribe money against him. If you want to donate more, you can, but, you know, just a suggestion. If you want a full breakdown on how these tax benefits will work, I'm going to link an article from Open Council, which also has a lot of other good articles if you want to get into certain political stuff, I'm just saying. That being said, it is very important to note that political donations can be given at the party level or at the local constituency association level, and this is more important than you think. Money that is donated to the parties will be used for province-wide campaigns, helping the CAs with electoral compliance, and building electoral tools for those campaigns. Constituency associations, aka the local branches of the party in your local riding, will only get that money if you donate directly to them. This is important for local campaigning efforts, especially when a candidate is selected. Typically, if you want to donate money to a CA, it's typically going to be the one that's locally within your electoral riding. However, to my understanding, you can donate to any CA you wish. Even multiple if you wanted to. By the way, I just wanted to let you guys know that I got this information from asking the Ontario Green Party about this, because this was something that was said in passing in one of their meetings that I attended, but I wanted to make sure before I relayed that information to you guys. By the way, just as a little aside real quick, just a little off topic, is currently I don't think all CAs for the different political parties have a candidate yet. For there to be a candidate for the CA, they actually have to nominate a member to run in that riding. You can even nominate yourself if you want, if you're a member, and can get the approval of the other party members. Each party, I think, has their own rules about how to get nominated, so you'll have to look that up yourself. Democratic nominations are a very important part of the democratic process, and I encourage my fellow Ontarians to take part if they are able. Just be sure that the political party is looking for a candidate in their area before you go and try to nominate. This, of course, assumes that by the time this video comes out, political parties are still looking for candidates within their local riding. By the way, an important thing to note about if you're joining a political party in Ontario, that membership fee for joining, that doesn't count towards the donation tax credit thing. I had to find this out the hard way when joining the Ontario Greens. Luckily, $30 for 3 years is not that bad, and it's even less if you just want to join for the 1 year. Though, surprisingly, Liberal membership is free. Also keep in mind that there is nothing stopping you from donating to multiple political parties. However, you can only be one member of a political party provincially and federally. So, like, 90% of the time you can do it in such a way where you can be, like, an Ontario Green but a federal Liberal. The only difference is NDP, because they're linked in a weird way that I don't fully understand, but it's interesting. Okay, now back on topic from that whole little side tangent that I did because of recent events. I did use the Ontario Greens as an example in that funny little skit video. However, I don't actually care who you give your money to. This is a nonpartisan call to action. This is why I'm mentioning direct action later in the video. But like, I don't care if you donate money to the Liberals, the NDP, Greens, Libertarians, none of the above, Consensus Ontario, the Ontario Moderate Party, Northern Ontario Party, hell, New Blue, if you can't be forced to vote for anything more left than your current position. Hi, editing memes here from the future. In this video, I really tried to be non-partisan throughout the whole thing, but non-partisan should not mean that I don't have standards. Don't actually support New Blue. That's a terrible idea. Genuinely, if you can't vote left, look into, like, independent options or non-electoralism options that I will mention later in this video. I will reflect on this and grow from this experience. Am I trying to deal with this blunder through cutaway humor? Yes. Seriously though, don't actually support New Blue. We're not that desperate. At least I think we're not. God. All of them, none of them, provincially or to your CA, or these aren't endorsements for any of these. I just have big, I don't care who wins, I just want Ford to lose energy right now. Or at least, manage a minority. I think a minority would be easier to deal with. Hell, if John Turmel is running in your riding, give money to him! John Turmel? John Turmel, only the political nerds are gonna know who the hell that is. I might as well have told them, hey, donate to the sock, or donate to the guy that changed his name to Above. What am I doing? Honestly, I can't even stop you from donating to the Conservatives. I'd ask why you're doing that, but, it's your money. And hopefully we're gonna remain a free country in the next couple of years. So, you might even like your current local MPP, which might make this scheme completely irrelevant, depending on where you live and how good of a job that person is supposedly doing. But, I appreciate if you're still watching. Look, I'm just throwing out ideas and providing information that might be useful to people. What you do with that information is entirely up to you. I'm just using my speech and my expression to express my frustration with the current majority government that, frankly, wins far too easily despite of how the voters actually vote. And this is an electoral reform or proportional representation video, so I'm just gonna put that aside for now. And the best I could do is just raise awareness of other options that you might have and a tool that you might use to combat current majority government. But hey, maybe electoralism isn't your thing. I get it. Understandable. I have other suggestions of what you might want to do. There's plenty of non-partisan organizations that you can look at and give money to. Hell, you might even be aware of some if you're politically active. Unfortunately, most of the ones that I personally know about are national organizations, not really provincially focused, such as Open Media, ASAN, Fair Vote Canada, and Rainbow Railroad. Though I think it should be important to note that a lot of these are national organizations with some grassroots components and has some provincial chapters. Also, generally, I would like to think the ones that I recommended are good anyways, but there's more. Probably the most direct action organization that I'm currently aware of is Cycle Ontario. It's mostly focused on the bike lane bill that says that Ontario is actually going to rip up bike lanes for basically no reason and waste more money. But it also has some urban related information, so I would like to think it counts. Now, the good thing is that I asked this on Blue Sky and Mastodon as well, and some of you actually came through on Mastodon. So shout out to Mastodon and mastodon.ca, or whatever this acronym is supposed to be. So let's go over some real quick. I'm going to let you know that I suggest this later in the video, but somebody mentioned that food banks definitely need your cash. So if you want to go as local as possible, food banks is always a good option. One of the suggestions from Mastodon was the Bike Brigade, which is a Toronto-based organization that uses volunteer cyclists to deliver food and other amenities and essentials to vulnerable people within Toronto, which is pretty cool, if I must say. If you're interested more in the housing issues and homelessness advocacy, there is housingrights.ca, which is an advocacy group fighting for, well, housing being a right in Canada instead of paying out the butt. Now, the reason why this group is notable in this case for Ontario is because they actually came out against Doug Ford's notwithstanding clause, against encampments. So, there's some food for thought. There's also Environmental Defense, which has a campaign against the 413 being built, which plans to get rid of swaths of greenbelt land for its construction. There's some other stuff that was mentioned in the Mastodon thread that I will get back into later, as I mentioned them later in the video. Just those are the kind of main ones that I found now. There's also plenty of GoFundMes, Ko-fis, and other means of supporting directly, such as food banks and charities and mutual aid organizations. I was informed in that Mastodon thread that, like, donating to your local food bank is probably really important because they can buy food way cheaper than you donating the food, so they can actually use the money more effectively. There's also community health clinics that do their best to help with marginalized people within the community, so that's another place where your money can go to if you want to do something direct and local. By going down this route, however, I do recommend doing your own research before donating. Just, use your best judgment. And if you're already donating to such a cause actively that you personally trust, it's probably best to just follow doing that instead of anything that I have just previously suggested. But, if you didn't know, you have options to go that way, in that direction. If you don't know where to start, now would be a good time to bring up $200.com and Canada Helps. Between me writing this script and publishing this video, there was a campaign put together that suggests using the $200 of Doug Ford's bribe money to put towards local charities to help those most vulnerable. The $200.ca site links to Canada Helps, which is basically just a big database of all the different charities within the country, which range from shelter to food banks to healthcare to education. Things that the Ford government could spend their money on, but instead are too busy building a spa and ripping up bike lanes. Also, the $200 site allows you to make a pledge of where you're donating that money to, which I think would be a good metric of just how much we reject Doug's bribe. But I digress. Honestly, if you're looking for other ways to support the community, libraries and hospitals usually will have a way to donate to them, and frankly, I feel like that's going to be really important to give money in that direction in the coming years. Just trust me on that. You'd actually be surprised what a library can offer you. Like, damn. Plus, these often also have a tax deductible, much like any other charity. Finally, you can support independent media such as Wallace and Tyee. Yes, I had to look up the pronunciation of Tyee. I thought it was pronounced T originally. Why support them? See me wanting to support libraries. Even though I think at least with Tyee, you won't get a tax break on that. Though I did find out through the Mastodon thread that the null wall will give you a tax benefit. And after all that, if you're still not interested in doing this, or anything I suggested, I don't know, man, it's your money. I'm not actually gonna be mad if you think I'm a loony for suggesting any of this. I just think, personally, it would be really funny if donations to the political opposition and charity just exploded after the checks cleared. For very ironic and personally petty reasons. An opportunity of a lifetime. Use a rich guy's money against him. But wait, that's the taxpayers. But I'll tell you one thing. Regardless of how you use that $200, I guarantee you it's going to be a lot better than what Doug Ford used your tax dollars for. Oh, but also, thank you for watching. I know this wasn't my usual content, and the fact that you stayed this long must mean I'm doing something right. Hopefully. But yeah, no, seriously. Next time, I'm going to actually do something maybe a little bit more fun. Hopefully a game, or some tech, or something. Wait, what's this? What do you mean there's an early election? God, I can't catch a break. God damn it.